Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Punn, Entended podcast. We got Bishop, we got Chris, we got a very special guest in the building today. We talk a lot in hyperbole where you're trying to talk people up. And this woman, I've been saying this for a couple years, you're the biggest fucking female DJ on the planet. And I don't think I'm speaking in hyperbole. She DJs everything from carnivals, bat mitzvahs, clubs, lounges, festivals, day parties, night parties,
weddings,
with the whole kit and goddamn caboodle. She DJing that shit, Jack. I'm talking about none other than New Orleans native DJ Stormy. Welcome, baby.
Well, thank you, Chris. That was an intro. What's up, Bishop? Right. Thank y'all for having me, man. This is absolutely amazing. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We thank you for coming.
We're gonna I always support y'all.
We're gonna start from the top. All right, New Orleans. Edna Carr High School. What was it like
growing
up in New Orleans?
So I was born in Trinidad, but I came to New Orleans when I was in second grade. And the crazy part was my mom and dad was like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to the U.S. and there's swimming pools. So I was like, yeah, we got swimming pools in schools, man. They freaking dropped us off in the middle of the goddamn hood. I went to one of the worst elementary schools. There was a fight in the morning, at recess, lunchtime, and afternoon recess, on the buses, on the shuttles home, always a fight. And it was kind of crazy because, I was from Trinidad, so we had this accent. So we sounded funny. We kind of looked Indian, kind of looked black, kind of looked Spanish. We couldn't really, like me and my brother was always really tight, and we couldn't identify or fall into a group when we first got here. So shit was bananas. Like, I fought my entire life. One, from the beginning, starting off fighting to protect my brother because he was younger than I was, 18 months younger. And I was always bigger than him until he turned probably 14, and then that changed real quick. But yeah, it was a rough environment. Let me just tell you, it was not swimming pools. It was nothing that I expected. But, I'm honored that I can call New Orleans my home. That's my city. That's my hood. That's my ghetto. From everything from Algiers to the ferry to the cutoff to the levee, baby. That's me all day.
Yeah, I love New Orleans, man. Y'all got some great, what's that? Acme.
Yeah, Acme Oyster House.
Yeah, always got a line.
Man, you could do Acme, but you really want like the people that's outside on the corner with the grills, that's charbroiling the oysters and stuff like that. That's where the real New Orleans flavor comes from.
What they call the oysters with the cheese on it?
Charbroiled oyster julienne.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes with spinach and cheese, kind of like, like spinach. Like spinach and artichoke dip.
Catfish.
Oh, yeah.
The crawfish.
The crawfish is everything in New Orleans.
Shout out to Juvenile. He do the Juvie Tuesdays. At the Hideaway.
Heck yeah. My boy Manny Fresh, I did a couple shows with him. We got some more things in the works, man. Shout out to Manny.
Yeah. My brother Fiend, too.
Yeah, 504 Fiend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fiend was one of my favorite artists coming up because of his voice. It was just different. It was super dope.
A lot of people don't know Fiend really, like all that shit these people rap about, he really got that shit. Like his house so nice. I went to his house and I stayed for a whole week.
He got it like paradise.
Swimming pool, all that shit. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the house like Uncle Bishop.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope.
We'll segue right into that. So you came up around the time when Juvie proclaimed that we taking over for the 99 and 2000, and goddamn it, they did it.
Oh, 100%. Like that was me.
Talk about that, like being where the sound was so regional, and then now it's blossoming in the mainstream.
So one thing about music I would tell y'all, like for me, I came from Trinidad. I was born in Trinidad, so I grew up in calypso and soca music. Then when I landed in New Orleans, my mom was a singer back in Trinidad, so we always loved music. So the crazy part is landing in New Orleans, all we heard growing up was New Orleans rap. So yes, there was the Tupacs and everything, but a lot of it was homegrown rappers and singers. That's all we knew. And we had our own genre of music, bounce music. Like that's what we do. Like if we hearing other artists, it's because they're like in the top 20, top 40. Like that's why we listen to the radio, to hear other artists. But outside of that, it's our culture. It is the only city that I know, in the Southeast, period, that we create a sound, we listen to it, we support it. That's 150% ours. And so it's kind of weird when people came in back in the early 90s and the middle 90s. Like they came in and was like, what the hell are y'all listening to? And then like the cadence and the beats and everything was very similar. So for outsiders, it sounded like you were listening to the same damn thing, like house music. It sounded like you listening to the same thing every minute for the next hour. It just sounded like the same, but it wasn't. It was very different. It was ours. It was organic. It belonged to us in New Orleans.
You're talking about bounce music.
Yeah, bounce music. Yeah. So just growing up in that era, man, it was different. Like we listened at 11, 12 years old. I was listening to a rapper called Feel I Feel about kidnapping niggas, fucking bitches, grabbing them in U-Hauls, drugs, sex, like everything. Like everybody around me in my neighborhood. Like it was crazy. That's how I was raised. Like when I started driving at 14, I had my 6x9s and my Oldsmobile and my Cutlass, and like that was us. That was me. It was because that's where I was raised at.
That's like Miss T.
Yeah, Miss T,
She was a
Cheeky
teenager.
Black. Yep.
Miss Peaches, I think, was that Miss Peaches, Miss T, Magnolia Shorty.
Magnolia Shorty.
Yeah, they was teenagers rapping about all that gangster shit.
Kitty Black, all of it. Like it's bad. If I really play some New Orleans music, like I will, when I do the New Orleans versus Falcons parties and stuff, I play that real organic New Orleans music. Nobody in the world will be able to relate to it except if you're from New Orleans and you grew up in that era. It's crazy. Just like West Coast music, just like up north music, it's the same thing except it belongs to New Orleans.
I think we developed an appreciation for it over time because it was like, I mean, as a male, just keeping it a buck, we didn't give a shit till we seen how the women reacted to it. So it's like, oh shit. So that's why they call it New Orleans bounce. They bounce.
Yeah.
Okay, it's bounce.
But it's even more crazy than that from a historical perspective. Like they're using samples and beats like Magnolia Shorty and Fifth Ward Weeby and all that stuff.
Rest in peace, Fifth Ward Weeby, man.
We created twerking. There's a rapper called Cheeky Black. And in 1992, she dropped a record called Cheeky Black Twerk Something, If You're Real With It. So we were twerking, but it was a different type of twerk. It wasn't shaking your ass. And the same thing with Magnolia Shorty and Fifth Ward Weeby and the rest of them, Juvenile. Like all these people, they sample this stuff now. Those are old 90s songs. Yep. Some of them as far back as 92 and 94. But it sounds very new to them because they didn't believe in our music. They didn't believe in our sound. They didn't see the vision. And it makes people feel good regardless. We call it a brown beat.
Yeah, shout out to Devious because I talked to him and he was telling me about like, I think Cardi B, a lot of people come to him to sample. I think he had Do It Baby Stick It.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of stuff that he came up with back in the day as a writer and an artist. And he's still getting paid.
Yeah,
right now.
the church girl, that's DJ Jimmy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like...
Shit. I love it.
It's crazy because Trigger Man, right? When they dropped Trigger Man, Trigger Man is really from up north.
The East Coast, yeah.
But
what was it called? The Show Boys?
Yeah, the show. Yeah. And no, Shop Boys, right? Shop Boys.
Not the Shop Boys.
No, it was Show Boys.
The Show Boys.
Man. Okay, I stand corrected. Yeah. But yeah, when Trigger Man came out, that we adopted that because it sounded like somewhat of a brown beat, bounce music beat. Yeah. We adopted that. It became known from a New Orleans perspective. Like we love that song. Trigger Man is not really ours, but we adopted it because it had our sound.
Y'all made it y'all's.
Yeah.
In your own way. And I think the thing about you, what I looked at you why you were gonna be so big before was your diversity. And I see, with the being from Trinidad originally and then New Orleans, your background, how that shapes that. If you watch Stormy DJ, it's not like you're not going to your run in the mill Atlanta club, y'all. It's not like we gonna at 1:30 we're gonna hear I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. Right. That's not how this shit go. It's gonna be a real experience. You know what I'm saying? So and I always appreciated that about your style and DJing.
Thank you, Chris. And I think it's important. It depends on where you are in your audience and stuff like that. My most favorite and memorable times is when I DJ at festivals. So, because I know people come there to party and have a good time. I hate DJing in clubs. Not that I don't want to, but I just really hate the vibe of it. It's like everybody just want to hear the top 40 or the most popular songs or trap songs. And I'm like, no, there's more music than just that. Right? They just want to rock out to that. And I feel like it should be an experience. Kind of like what Diddy said, when he came down here a couple of years ago. Like, I love when people could sing along and dance and get up and just have a good time and drink and get drunk and just just laugh and have a good time. That's why I started DJing. I wanted people to have a good time because I started making music and I was dropping music back in 2016. And I'm like, I can't control this shit. I'm literally creating music and it's up to the audience to figure out if they like it, if they're going to rock with me or not.
Creating music?
So back in 2014, actually, I dropped an EDM hip hop infused album. So when I first started DJing professionally in 2016, I came out as a EDM DJ.
Venom Kisses.
Venom Kisses is my album. And Lil Jon was like a silent mentor. So I just loved how he transitioned his hip hop crunk music into EDM music, but didn't go all the way EDM. He still had elements and characteristics of his music that represented him. So I love that piece of it. So I started out as an EDM DJ, and that's how I got a lot of notoriety in the beginning, is because I was a woman of color and they didn't have us doing EDM in Atlanta. So I started off doing that, but unfortunately it was a very hard market. And if you don't, I'm sorry to say this shit, if you don't look like them, or you don't really have an in.
Or what about it, like if you live in Vegas or something?
That would have been different.
So really,
I would have been perfect. Actually, I probably would have blown it up by now.
So really, Atlanta, like, you kind of dumb yourself down a little bit.
Yeah.
When it comes to the music.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that you was doing the EDM.
Yeah, that's how I started off, EDM. I mean, I made magazines and everything.
That's how I met her.
Crazy.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
New every day.
Yeah, and I did it because, I was a workout fanatic at the time, and EDM just, like, it gives you that adrenaline rush and shit. Like, you really don't really need to say too much. It was just about the vibe and the energy in EDM, and that's what I loved about it. But I couldn't escape my New Orleans music, right. What they would call trap music. We call it New Orleans real hood music, like that organic New Orleans music. I couldn't escape hip hop and the love for all genres of music. And that's why I just became a professional DJ. I left my corporate job making 6 figures to do this shit.
So what made you, okay, you left your corporate job. Is that when you made the transition to Atlanta? Like, out of all the places in the world?
No, I came to Atlanta because of Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, okay.
So me and my family, I was married at the time, me, my family, his family, we all packed up. We were in 4 vehicles and we had two days of clothes with our pets and everything. We came here to Buckhead, thought we was coming here to party, have a good time and go back home. 6 weeks later.
Wow.
Still hadn't been home. Then when I finally went home, my property was damaged so much. His family's property was actually what y'all saw on the news, like the ones that were on the roofs and shit. So it was bad. So we were trying to get it fixed up, but they didn't have any contractors. Like, everybody was extended. There were no supplies, and we had to make money.
So what year was that?
2005. Okay. So I've been here almost 17 years.
Wow, and you started DJing in 2016?
Yep, professionally in 2016, yep.
Wow.
I took that leap, and then I did it full-time since December 2018. I've been a full-time DJ.
Now, just
an entertainer.
I'm sorry. Just to go back just a little bit, because when I met you, it was with Pandemonium Music.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dre, Biz, the whole crew over there. How'd you get with them and start making that brand of music? Well,
I knew Dre the URL before, and then when I started saying I want to become an artist, like I want to do the artist thing. I've always done the management piece of it when I was in New Orleans. I always loved the music industry, and I just wanted to get behind the mic. Like, I literally wanted to create music. And when I put my head to something, I do it, like playing football. Like, I wanted to be a female football player. Why? Because I wanted to do it. I drove Corvettes before it was cool to drive Corvettes. Like, I have 4 Corvettes back to back to back to back. Why? Because you don't see a black woman driving around in Corvettes. You see all white people. And so I always wanted to be different with everything that I do. So with Pandemonium, they just so happened to be there at the time, and Dre just helped me with the project. And I started off rapping, but they didn't like it because I grew up in New Orleans. Like I said, we got some really violent, harsh
lyrics,
but we live those things. And they thought at the time, as my managers, they were like, that's not the look for you. But that's what I love rapping about.
So you was rapping about snorting dope and
no!
powder bags?
Well, selling, coming up in the
Shooting
hood.
all kinds of shit, man.
Yeah, like literally, like that's the lifestyle I grew up in. shit, most of the people on my block, they end up being strung out, dead, or in jail. Until this day, like people on Facebook and Instagram that's from my block, like I still talk to them. When I go to New Orleans, I still rock with them. I'm never going to forget where I came from, ever. So that was the decision to move to EDM, because they wanted a different image for me, because they were going, like, there were so many female artists that was coming out at the time, and it was really rough. And honestly, I was a little bit older. I didn't want to have to go that route and stick with it and have to show my body or talk about, lyrics that's like degrading and shit like that, talking about busting my pussy open and, fucking niggas. Like, that's what was catchy in 2014, 2015, 2016. And that's what's now. Right? So, I got kids. I have stepkids. I have girls that look up to me and follow me. I sit on empowerment panels. I do all this stuff, man. I can't do that. So it didn't fit the mold for my brand. So that's why I went EDM.
So you done professionally, I'm gonna put the quotation, professionally, because you're the biggest female DJ on the planet. I want y'all to understand that.
Y'all keep hearing Chris.
You've been doing
I
this
did not pay
professionally.
this man to say this.
She did not.
No,
I've been telling her this personally. Yeah. I don't give a damn what nobody say.
I never came to the DJ booth and told you to play anything. You always play the good
She
shit.
played the good
Thank you, Bishop.
She one of them, and I have a tough time because dealing with DJs and whatnot. I have a tough fucking time figuring out how in 5-6 years, you've passed up 90% of these niggas. I have a tough time understanding that. Please, if you have anything for me, help me out.
Well, the first thing is, I personally and honestly, as God is my witness, like, I don't look at other people as competition. I actually try to help and give knowledge wherever I see fit. If they accept it, they accept it. If not, that's fine. But I always had a motto. My dad always taught me, you know what I'm saying? Keep your head down and keep your feet running. Especially if you really don't know what you're doing. I don't ask for favors. I know so many celebrities and artists and actors and stuff like that. And everybody, when I started doing it, they were like, just reach out to them. Just ask them to do you a favor. And I said, nah, that's not how I was raised. I was raised that I need to do the work. I need to become knowledgeable. I need to put in my work and then let people start coming to me. And Hurricane Dave at the time, he told me something very important. He was over 107.9 and he sat down and he had a meeting with me. He just pulled me to the side and just had a meeting with me because he saw I was moving and shaking and I was in the industry here in Atlanta. And he said, Stormy, if you create it, you don't have to ask nobody for no favors. And since then, all I've been doing is just try to create it and create the demand for me. And everybody is now coming to me. All my bookings are not proactive. Everything is reactive. Like if I had a manager or a booking agent, that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for a booking agent or a manager that can help me be proactive. The reactive stuff is here. I'm sustaining. I'm winning, thank God. You know what I'm saying? Because I put in the work, and people may think that those 6 years is not enough to be where I am today. But I keep telling people, it's like, don't conform, be open, like do the weddings, take the lower paying gigs sometimes if it's going to help your brand, if it's going to help with marketing. There was a point where I literally did something for Coca-Cola and they didn't really have the budget because it was in a diversity market, right? A very diverse market. And they didn't have the budget to really pay me for it. So I took a very low rate, but guess what? I got in front of all those people with Coca-Cola at the time. This is when I first started. And I was like, it was worth it. Certain things is not about money. And people don't understand that. They think everything is about money. No, everything is about strategy. It's about business. And it doesn't have to be about the dollar at that time. If it makes sense, marketing wise for your brand, do it. Do it.
Just said a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. So now these same brands come and pay $5,000-$6,000 for me to do an hour and a half worth of work.
What they say, sometimes you start off, you get paid less to do a lot of work. And then you end up getting paid a lot to do nothing.
Yeah, to do nothing. And that's true. And that happened in corporate America. I remember I came into corporate America and I was making $22,000 a year in my first corporate job. And literally in 2 years, I became a director at that same university, at Dillard University. And I was the youngest director they had. Then when I came to Atlanta, I moved up so quickly because I just listen. I keep my head down and keep my feet running. And literally, the higher up I went is the less work that I did. And it was just so mind-boggling to me at the time. But then I understood. I was like, you get the formula and everything else falls into place. David Banner told me something. He's one of my best friends. And literally, he said, everything is about currency, right? And not money, but the actual current. Once you have enough current going in that circulation, everything will just start pulling in rotation, and you'll be making more money than you ever thought you could make because you've got everything going. It will not stop. So I had to figure out how to get that current going in a rotation that it will continue to just keep like revolving around me no matter where I go, what I do, no matter who I speak to, no matter what level, if it's in the hood, if it's in corporate America, I do it all. I'm not scared to do any of that. And everybody is like, nah, I'm not going to take that money, or nah, I can't do that. That's too hood, or nah, that's too corporate. It's going to mess up my brand. What are you talking about? What is your brand? Like, define your brand to me.
Right. A social security number.
Right. Define your brand. Because God in the universe is going to take you, if you work for it, it's going to take you and open up doors that you don't even imagine in your mind. And I tell this to everybody all the time. I'm like, man, the biggest blessing for me is to know that people are speaking my name in a positive manner in rooms with other people that I have no clue that they're speaking on me. None.
That's called money in the pipeline.
Ooh.
It's just sitting. You might have just made 15,000, but you got another 50 sitting in the pipeline.
And I get confirmation every time somebody tries to kick me or throw dirt on me. I get confirmation all the time. Today, I got another confirmation. Dude called me on the phone and was like, hey, we'll have a confirmation for you tomorrow with the money and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, no problem. Then he just started talking to me, and he was like, man, I just want to let you know, the two owners of the classic that they're putting together in New Jersey, the two owners are so wowed by you and your professionalism and your one sheet and everything you post on Instagram and social media. They can't believe that they're seeing a black woman dealing with corporations at the level that you're doing.
But you got great energy too, because like,
thank you, Bishop.
Just going out and seeing you DJ, like I see a lot of women gravitating, and that's odd because a lot of women are always preaching about sticking together.
Yeah.
But it's not like that.
Don't do that shit.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women that be, you know, competing and just, oh, she look better than me or this. So with you, it's like when I go to the venues and see you actually doing your work, I see a lot of pretty women that stand next to you and support you. And that's like unheard of. Like the times that we live in, everybody just want that Instagram, they want the likes, they want this, and it's like just to see like, damn, look at Stormy and she got damn near 15, 20 girls look just as good as she do, and they all supporting.
And
like,
they successful.
Yeah,
as well.
And they got jobs, and that shit crazy. Like, it's crazy, but I enjoy it because I love being, you know, I ain't trying to be around no niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I see you, Story, I see AB, Ari, KG, and a few others.
And whoever not present, go to another Stormy party and watch what
They're going to be right the fuck there.
It's going to be some more. So it's just like, that shit crazy.
You know, it's crazy that you said that, because that's huge for us women. Like, women feel like we have to compete against each other. Women have problems telling other women how beautiful they are.
Right.
Right. Whether they're attractive or not. Women in general, everybody's different. Everybody's beautiful in their own way, and they have the hardest time giving compliments to other women, and it's the hardest thing. And I don't mind, because I want people and women to know, like, you don't know what people going through, especially women. Like, shit, y'all carry a lot on your shoulders, but a lot of the shit we carry, we keep that embedded and internalize it, and that's why you see it stressed out, hair coming out. Like, it's a lot that we deal with on a daily basis, but ain't nothing wrong with fucking embracing women and telling them that you love them or they're beautiful, or just give them a compliment, man. You have no idea the energy that it takes to just compliment somebody, man or woman. Just hey, king. Like, I address people. Now, if I don't feel good energy off of you, I will not call you king.
Right.
Period. But if I feel good energy off of you, I would definitely, you know, refer to you as king. I'd be like, hey, king, how you doing? You know, or you good, black man? You know, like something positive. But if you don't have good energy, I stay away from it. And then for most women, like, I just give them good energy. And a lot of them, they reciprocate that. And there's some that just kind of like standoffish, like, why the fuck she trying to hug me or say hello and speak to me, or why she telling me I'm beautiful? Like,